Great. We'll give it just a few more minutes to make sure everyone has had the opportunity to join, and then we'll jump right in. All right, I think we're ready to get started here. If I can just have someone confirm that you can see my screen.
We can see it, Lauren.
Great, thank you. Okay, so let's jump right in. We have a jam-packed session, so we'll make sure to get to all of the material today. Excited that you're here and want to learn about Revitalize. As you know, we kick this off, I just wanted to remind you that this is, of course, internal information that we are sharing. So when you're using materials, just be mindful of all of the things I'll cover today are available to you as agents and staff, but please, just be mindful of what you share externally outside of the company. Okay, with that, let's get started. We'll introduce to you Revitalize. The agenda that we'll cover today, first we'll look at the opportunity that Revitalize offers you. We will introduce Revitalize and all the program benefits. We're going to review some marketing materials and how to use the program, and then the steps to get started. So first, we'll start with the opportunity. Of course, the question comes to mind, how important are listings to your success? Listings bring in more listings. They lead to additional transactions. You can help the seller buy their next home, and happy sellers are a great source of referrals and repeat business. Listings attract buyers. Everything from your for sale sign to open houses to social media helps advertise you as an agent, helps you meet new buyers who may become your next customer. And listings attract sellers. Your track record of success in listings will lead to more listings, and sellers are drawn to agents who can produce results. And listings also help create stability in changing markets. These are just a few advantages of building your listing inventory, but you don't just want any listings, right? You want saleable listings. The reality is listing commissions are only paid when listings actually sell. And two factors determine saleability, both price and condition. In the matter of pricing, you have an understanding of your current market conditions, and your skills to articulate the importance of proper pricing to a seller plays such a large role in producing a successful sale. But the second factor is property condition, and that one is often one that presents real challenges for both you as an agent and a seller. We know that homes in top condition can sell for more money, they can sell more quickly, and homes in top condition have fewer inspection challenges. But we also know not all homes have been recently renovated, right? So what do you do when you walk into a listing and you see this? You know it's a detractor for potential buyers. Do you consider lowering the price or make recommendations to make some repairs? But there are obstacles to improving condition, right? We would love to deliver all of our listings in perfect condition, but that doesn't always happen. And there are reasons why a seller cannot or will not complete the projects that may help their property sell more quickly and for more money. And one of those biggest obstacles, of course, is money. Very often, a seller just doesn't have the extra money on hand to make the necessary improvements in order to maximize their home sale. So this is a great introduction to RealVitalize. RealVitalize program is powered by Homeadvisor. It's an exclusive offering today for Coldwell Banker clients that helps them make the home improvements and repairs necessary in order to prep their home for sale. We cover all the upfront costs and get paid back when the listing sells. There's no hidden fees, no interest charges, and no markups on the services for a home seller to maximize their home sale through our program. A little bit about Homeadvisor. There are some statistics there on your screen. They've had the national reach that we needed in order to support our agents in offering this program. They've been phenomenal partners to date. They have a vast array of service providers. You see there 500 plus service categories. They have taken only the top rated service professionals in their network and have enrolled them into RealVitalize so that our agents and our sellers get the best of the best. We get the work done, completed with quality, and ensure that it's happening on time and on budget. Homeadvisor also offers us a team of project consultants, which we'll talk about their role in a little bit more detail later in the presentation. But they are just a phenomenal group of communicators. They help facilitate the work being completed start to finish. There are agent advocates, there are seller advocates. When things may go awry, you know, anytime we're dealing with contracting services. Of course, having those difficult conversations with service providers can be cumbersome, or finding someone who's licensed, insured, and vetted to get the work completed can be time consuming. So our project consultants take on all of that work on behalf of our seller and our agents to make sure we have someone who can do the job with quality, get it done quickly. And that project consultant will help to coordinate throughout the experience to make sure it's a great benefit to our sellers. So I quickly want to review some program benefits and the facts that we have come to learn about using RealVitalize to date. So we've recently updated our data to ensure that we can tell you the phenomenal results we've seen through the program so far. Listings that come through RealVitalize sell much closer to their actual list price than homes that do not. In fact, I believe 56% of homes that have been revitalized actually sell at or above listing price. So if we look across all of the homes that used Revitalize over the last year or so, the average percentage from list to sold is about 98%. That's more than 2 full percentage points closer to their list price than other homes on market. Agents are also securing a higher commission using our program, and that's 15 basis points, which means 0.15%. That our agents are able to showcase the value of the program. Our sellers are finding a lot of value in using this to maximize their listings, and so they're willing to pay that kind of premium commission rate to their agents in order to access the program. And we have also come to recognize a 200% improvement for listing cancellation rates. That is huge. So we're creating that additional stickiness for our agents in order to ensure that their listings move forward to actually selling, as opposed to ending up expired or canceled. The seller benefits, of course, some are relatively obvious, like maximizing sale price and a potentially quicker sale, right? That's the value prop of the Revitalize program, is to help maximize the value of that listing when it sells. But we've also come to learn that we've experienced fewer delays to closing. So in that inspection type scenario, Revitalize offers a phenomenal third door, as opposed to having to reduce the list price because we're making some buyer concessions or forcing the seller to come up with the cash in order to make repairs to benefit their listing and move forward to the closing table. Revitalize allows them to make those repairs without having to pay out of pocket. So it's a great way to kind of keep the deal moving forward in that inspection use case. And we really do have the right partners. So with you as an expert agent, knowing what repairs or what renovations might help to get the listing sold, and our partner with Homeadvisor really helps to ensure that we're not standing in the way of the seller getting on the market, getting the home addressed, whatever renovations there are that are needed, repaired, and maximizing that buyer interest in order to maximize their home sale. We also have a ton of benefits to our agents, of course, selling listings faster and for a higher price benefit our agents as well. But it also offers our agents that competitive advantage. So not only in winning the listing, right? So when they are talking to a potential seller about all of the things that they can do in order to list their home and be selected as their agent, this program absolutely helps our agents stand apart from competition, but it also helps our agents' listings stand out against other listings, right? So if a recently renovated 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home is competing against one that hasn't been recently renovated, it has that extra appeal for potential buyers. So giving the listings a competitive advantage as well. And I mentioned this program has proven to help agents earn a higher commission. And we have seen that time and time again. Our agents are able to kind of position this as their premium offering for sellers, and sellers are getting a lot of value by investing in their home sale, walking away with more money at the end of the day. And so they're willing to pay a little bit higher commission to our agents for that benefit. Next, I'd like to introduce you to one of the agents that have used this program multiple times. Her name is Susan Matthews. She's located in South Carolina. And I just wanted to walk you through a testimonial or a case study that she has used for Revitalize for. So her clients previously listed with another brokerage, and after several months on the market, they never received any offers. These were actually pretty proactive sellers. They did some work prior to even getting on the market that first time. Here's some before and afters of what the listing looks like. So you can see on the befores, the listing didn't look bad. They had recently painted. They, did a few repairs in order to prep the home for sale on their own. But Susan walked through and said, I really think I can help maximize the sale of your property if we do a couple of things. We can swap out some lighting, make it look and feel more modern. We'll do some light staging, just kind of giving the look and feel a little bit of a refresh. and painting some select areas. So she focused really on whites and neutrals and updating the cabinets to give them that more fresh feeling. After just a few short days on the market, they were able to get an offer, and this was exactly what the sellers needed in order to get their home sold. So she repaired some things in the kitchen, she repaired some things in the bathroom. It made a big difference in photos, generating much more buyer interest and how the home showed. The bottom line is RealVitalize was the perfect answer for these sellers because they had already invested cash in their home sale, but it just wasn't enough to get it sold. So they didn't have to pay anything out of pocket. They got the necessary repairs and improvements that were needed in order to get buyer interest in their property. Her quote here says that she listed their home on a Wednesday afternoon and had an offer in hand next day. The home has since closed, and so it's a good news story for not only the agent, but the seller, just showing how RealVitalize added additional value to that transaction. So now, of course, you're wondering, great, how do we use RealVitalize? I'm going to walk you through how it works. So the seller first signs the RealVitalize agreement in order to get enrolled and get approved into the program. You as an agent upload that into our application system. The project consultant from Homeadvisor will reach out. They usually reach out to both the seller and the agent, but whoever would like to be the primary point of contact is perfectly fine in order to schedule a walkthrough and start sourcing vendors, etc. Once the work is scoped and we have a walkthrough on the books, we will coordinate a price quote. That price quote will be vetted by your project consultant to ensure it's a fair market estimate for the work that needs to be completed, and then the work will promptly begin. Once we have work underway, that project consultant is coordinating communications, timelines, making sure things are happening on budget. They're coordinating all of the vendor payments, so none of that work needs to fall on the agent or the seller. And then once the work is complete, the seller will update their listing with their agent, right? Maybe it's a description of new flooring throughout, or maybe it's new photos of the fresh coat of paint, whatever it might be, in order to generate the maximum amount of buyer interest. And then once the home is sold, the cost is deducted directly from the seller's proceeds. There's no additional markups, no interest on the dollars that have been spent. If $10,000 was invested in home services to get that home sold, then we will just deduct that $10,000 back from the seller's proceeds at the closing table. Okay. Some of the program requirements I wanted to review with you today are RealVitalize is offered to Coldwell Banker real estate agents in select markets that have a signed listing agreement. That signed listing agreement must be active at the time of enrollment. And cannot be future dated. So it doesn't have to be on the MLS, but it does have to be an active listing agreement at the time of enrollment. The seller cannot be in bankruptcy. It cannot be bank owned, in foreclosure. Any financially distressed situation is one that we want to stay away from with the program. So those will not be approved to enroll. There is no minimum or maximum home price to enroll a listing. So we've done work on $60,000 listings all the way up to $11 million. There is no minimum project cost to participate in the program. So even if the seller just wants to use this program for a deep clean or some minor repairs, they absolutely can do that. That is absolutely no problem. If they just want the convenience of not having to find vendors to do the work, we are there for them. And there's no pre-qualification. So we're not putting anyone in jeopardy, if they're looking to purchase their next home, etc. We know that would be a sticking point. We did not craft this program to have any consumer barriers. And so there is no pre-qualification. We're not running their credit, etc. if they want to qualify for the program. The budget and how that works is that we will allow a seller to make repairs up to an amount that is equal to your list side commission as an agent. So that means that if it were a $400,000 home and your list side commission is 3.5%, then we would set the budget for that listing at $14,000. Now, that does not mean we are cutting a check to them for $14,000. They certainly do not have to use the full amount that is allotted for that listing, but we will approve services through Homeadvisor up to that amount of $14,000 for that listing. We are also not liening the property. So Coldwell Banker is not placing a lien to ensure that we will get repaid. And so as sellers have those concerns, especially that they're selling their home, we just wanted to make sure that we're not creating a barrier for them by liening the property. So we are not placing a lien on the property. The other call out is if your list side commission is in excess of $50,000, we will cap the amount of work that can be completed on that listing at that $50,000 mark. Okay. There is the requirement to use our expert Realty Title Group company as the title and settlement services company for this program. The Realty Title Group team is heavily integrated into all of our operations. They are taking on all of the legwork to get that invoice sent to the closing table so that we can recollect and minimize the risk in the program. And it just helps us to better manage the logistics in order to ensure we have the least amount of risk of not getting paid back at the closing table. So there is a requirement to use our Realty Title Group for listings that are enrolling in this program. Okay. And the type of work that we will cover is non-structural. So we will not build the 2-story addition on the property or dig the in-ground pool that everyone now so desires. But pretty much anything else goes. So we'll do full renovations like kitchen, bathroom, that's no problem. We will do roof repair, but not a full roof replacement. Similarly with decks. So if they need some decking repaired, we absolutely can do that. But we won't, build a wraparound porch or whatever that would be a structural improvement. We also cannot cover moving and storage. So anytime we're taking liability for someone else's personal belongings or effects, we will not approve that service to run through the program. So moving and storage are not included as RealVitalize services. When can you use RealVitalize on a listing? And the great news here is pretty much anything goes. So any existing listing that you may have right now, if it's sitting out there for 3 months, 6 months, you're considering a price reduction, RealVitalize may be a great alternative to that option. Maybe, taking some potential buyer feedback, looking at if there are any trends there. If you're getting the constant, oh, well, the carpets need to be replaced in order for me to even consider making an offer, maybe RealVitalize is a great opportunity for that home seller. You can identify the improvements in order to increase the saleability and move that listing off the market for any existing listing you currently have. We are absolutely here for new listings, or if you're offering this program on a listing presentation, great differentiator for you as an agent. Most listings could benefit from some kind of enhancements. So as you're doing that initial walkthrough with your potential seller, maybe having a conversation for how to maximize that home value could be a great fit for RealVitalize. So they don't have to pay anything out of pocket in order for you to maximize the buyer interest once you hit the market. And doing work before it's even listed on the MLS can be a great opportunity for them. The one call out on new listings is, of course, all local MLS guidelines have their specific regulations as far as time frame to get things into the MLS. Please be mindful of that. You can use pocket listings, you can use exclusive listings in order to save some time on market, but we just want to make sure you're always abiding by the requirements as put forward by your MLS. So just be mindful of that. Sometimes it's an amend and extend or an additional waiver that may be necessary to withhold a property from the MLS, but just be mindful of that as you're considering doing work prior to getting the listing on the market. And lastly, a listing with potential inspection concerns. I kind of called this out earlier as one of the benefits. It's a great opportunity for a seller to make repairs without having to pay anything out of pocket once the buyer has made those requests. So If something's coming up in the inspection timeframe, great opportunity to plug the program and use this as an opportunity for them not having to pay out of pocket, but get the repairs necessary at a fair market rate by a top quality professional, and move forward to that closing table. So what projects come to mind when you think about improving buyer perception? Some of the projects that we have available as part of RealVitalize. This is definitely not an all-encompassing list. As I mentioned earlier, we have over 500 service categories that are available to be utilized by sellers and then some. But the top kind of services that we've seen agents benefit from currently, I think, is painting is our #1 service. We get a lot of staging, a lot of carpeting or carpet cleaning or handyman services. And then during that inspection timeframe, we certainly do a fair amount of landscaping or painting, or plumbing or electrical, right? Those trade services, we get a lot of that during the inspection timeframe as things are coming up that maybe had been uncovered and previously unaware of. So we are absolutely here for any service that the seller needs in order to ensure they can move forward to the closing table. But this is just a couple of ideas of how agents have used the program to date. And you can use RealVitalize to fit your seller's needs specifically. So we know no two homes are the same. They will each need something different before being sale ready. And I would say almost all listings could use a little something just to get it sale ready. So let's just talk about a couple of those use cases. Maybe it's a case where you walk through the listing and everything seems to be relatively up to date, but you know your open house is coming, or you want to get the house ready for some showings. You can get a thorough cleaning through the program, maybe spruce up that curb appeal in order to let it pop in photos, or use staging for those vacant properties. Great opportunity to make the house feel more like a home, kind of visualize for a buyer how they would live in the property. So we're absolutely here for those services to make that home more show ready. The second category, I kind of bucketed some as far as refresh services. So, the home has great bones, and maybe just could use some neutralizing of paint colors, right? If you walk in and there's some reds and some greens on the walls, maybe neutralizing them to a gray or something that would appeal to a broader market could be a great opportunity for the seller to generate a little bit more buyer interest. If there are carpets in the home, maybe getting a carpet cleaning or having the handyman just kind of make the small repairs on the honey-do list that never got done, right? Or if something's going to come up in inspection and you just want to get ahead of that, great opportunity to just do a couple of refresh services, get a big bang for their buck, and maximize some buyer interest there. And then of course, we are here for the full renovation. So I know as you're thinking of using the program, anytime there would be a situation where you walk into the listing and the kitchen hasn't been updated in 40 years, or there's only one bathroom and the one bathroom is not in great shape, a great opportunity to add that little bit of a wow factor. Maybe you're modernizing or just giving one of the rooms a complete overhaul. We're absolutely here to help with a renovation. You can refinish or replace flooring, update appliances. We'll also cover that. So whatever it might be, as far as just revamping some rooms or some larger renovation services, we can absolutely help with that. And then lastly is your inspection punch list. And we are here for all of those services as well. And they may include electrical repairs, plumbing replacements, pest control services. We actually even do HVAC repairs or replacements. And so as things are coming up in inspection, great opportunity to keep it in mind and just make sure they know that this is an option in order to move forward to that closing table. With all this to offer, you can be sure your listing is the right fit for RealVitalize. There's some great before and after and testimonials that you can reference here after training for more use cases. But let's jump into how to get started using the program. One quick call out before we get into our steps is that listings all must be in Dash. At the broker level, many of you may find that your broker is already uploading your listings to Dash, but it just helps our team to monitor listing statuses to ensure that we know what's going on with our RealVitalize listings and we can minimize the risk of not getting paid. So it's just a matter of us being informed of the listing status through the duration of your listing agreement. Okay. The 4 quick steps to Revitalize, of course, first is offering Revitalize to your client, and then followed by them signing the participation agreement. So an important call out here is that not only does your seller sign the participation agreement, it also must be signed by your broker. And there's a really important reason for that. Your broker is taking the risk that this listing will not turn into bad debt, and that means if your listing cancels or expires or goes 12 months without selling, then the broker is paying back the program on behalf of your seller, and then the broker will collect directly from your seller thereafter. So that the broker has to sign your participation agreement to ensure that they are a party to the contract. Your broker will approve each enrollment prior to us enrolling them and approving their application for the program. So just an important step that not only does the participation agreement have to be signed by you, by your seller, but it also has to be signed by your broker. You or the seller can call Homeadvisor. You'll talk to your dedicated project consultant. That one project consultant will remain your partner throughout the full experience, and you'll get consultations scheduled and pick a time for projects. Once Revitalize is complete, once you've done all the work on the home, you will hopefully go under contract quickly, and you'll just let us know that the home is under contract by completing a notice of change of listing status form. I'll show you what that looks like here shortly. And you'll just keep us posted as far as here's when you're closing, here's who you're working with, etc., so we can get those invoices showing up at the closing table. Here's a quick overview of the experience, and I'm going to walk through this piece by piece so that we're all on the same page for exactly the timeline and how it works. We'll start with the enrollment piece. Enrollment can take about 2 business days. So you get the agreement signed by your seller, you'll have your broker sign that participation agreement, and then you'll submit the online application through Desk. And that approval typically takes about 1 to 2 business days. So long as we have all the information, we typically will get back to you within the same day. But if we have questions or if we're missing a piece of information, it could take that additional day or so. Then you'll hear from your project consultant within that next 1 to 2 business days. But they are very close to the program. They know as soon as our agents express interest that they have the opportunity to reach out to you, and so they usually are pretty good about getting back to you the next day once you have your enrollment confirmation. Okay, so let's walk through what that enrollment process looks like. You'll find the documents on Desk. We have that RealVitalize Desk tile, and there is a blue resources link. In that resources link, you'll find all of the materials. Everything that you could possibly need for RealVitalize is there. So once you have that app available to you, you'll be ready to go and get offering this program. The forms that you're looking for, so there's one primary form, and that is your participation agreement. Your participation agreement is the one critical form that you need in order to enroll in the program. I did want to call attention to the fact that if they decide to complete work with Homeadvisor, then there would be a Homeadvisor customer agreement as well. That agreement is posted on Desk for your reference, and that is only an agreement between the seller and Homeadvisor. Okay, so it's available there if you want to get it all done at once, totally fine. But what we need for the enrollment piece is that first participation agreement. Okay, here's what that looks like. You can see at the top, we're just asking a few basic questions about the listing, like who's the property owner, what's the address, what are you listing it for, and what is the list side commission for the property. So that'll help us to set your budget. And you'll see in the last page, we are asking for not only your seller signature, but your broker signature as well, so that they could be party to the agreement in case the listing does expire or cancel. They will be in a position to collect the money that is owed and that they've paid back to the program on their behalf. Okay. The way the budget works, so I just wanted to call out a quick example. We kind of touched on it earlier, but we are asking for you to list your list side commission in that participation agreement. And that's extremely important because it's helping us to set the proper budget for that property. So we are not asking for your total commission rate. We are asking for your Coldwell Banker list side commission. In the example here of a listing price of $400,000 and the total commission rate being 7%, split in half, so 3.5 to the listing side and 3.5 offered to the buyer's agent. We are asking for your list side commission to be entered on that participation agreement and setting the budget at $14,000, so that equivalent dollar value of that 3.5%. Okay. If your list side commission does exceed that $50,000 mark, we will cap the budget, the allowable amount for services to be used on that property, at $50,000. So that is how the budget is set for each individual property. Okay. Any increase in list side commission would be an equivalent increase in budget. So if you're having the conversation where the amount of home services that you want to do would be in excess of that 3.5% or that $14,000, you can increase your list side commission to cover that overage up to the maximum of $50,000. Okay. So here is once you have your signed seller participation agreement and it is signed and approved by your broker to participate, you would go back to desk. You kind of click on the hammer and wrench icon there in the middle. That'll launch the online application. And there we're just asking you for a few quick questions about the listing. And this is a couple of screenshots of what that looks like. You'll continue through the enrollment process until it's complete. We ask you, the basic information on what is the listing address, who are you as the agent, who's the seller, what services might you be interested in taking advantage of through Revitalize. We ask for a copy of your listing agreement and the signed seller participation agreement, and then notify you that you'll receive confirmation within 1 to 2 business days. Again, we usually get back to you same day, so long as we have all the information that we need. But that is the simple online enrollment process. And we're also available at RealVitalize at Realogy.com or Homeadvisor.com. We have plenty of customer service teams available if you need help with that, but they are on standby to help you if you should need any assistance with the online enrollment application. So next, I want to talk through the project consultant experience all the way throughout work being completed. I've pulled some averaged completion times for you to review there on your screen. You can see that the timeline becomes highly variable. So some listings just need one quick service, like staging could take a day. And other listings maybe need 4 services. And the collective amount of time that work can take is, of course, particular to your specific seller. But based on our top services, I just kind of pulled some average completion times to share with you. So you can see a full renovation could take 2 weeks. If it's, just painting, typically less than a week that it would take. So it really is dependent on the number of services and which services your seller is selecting for how long work can take to be completed. So once you receive enrollment approval, you will be assigned a dedicated project consultant to help facilitate the home's projects. And they'll start detailing out with you that scope of work. So they're asking, what are the services that you're looking to do? What rooms are you looking to get them done in, etc. You'll get one qualified vendor to bid the work for each job. You can have more than one qualified vendor come out to bid the work, but you'll have to request that. That's no problem at all. Just to ensure that you're getting a good price, that's totally fine. But we typically, based on each service, will send the most qualified vendor with the most availability out to that listing in order to assess the job and get a bid out quickly. The seller will approve that bid and the scope of work before any work begins. So we want to make sure that we're always on the same page, and the seller is approving work to begin, because ultimately it's their dollars that have to pay for the services at the end of the day. Then the project consultant will coordinate all vendor payments. Typically that looks like a down payment up front for services to be complete. So usually around 30% the vendor gets paid up front. And then a 70% payment once the work has been confirmed as completed. We ask the seller to verify their satisfaction that work was completed with quality before we release that final payment to the service provider. And then you as the agent let us know when the home is under contract, and then we'll do all the coordination at closing. I mentioned we have Realogy Title Group. They are very integrated into our process. You as an agent will probably hear from them a number of times throughout this experience. We stay really close to our Real-Vitalize listings to ensure we're minimizing that risk in the program. I wanted to call out a few tips for scoping work. You as an agent are our on-site contact for the Real-Vitalize listing. We are not sending a project consultant from the program on site. They are centrally located, but they are your partner in developing the scope of work. And we know you're the expert, right? Like you as an agent know what improvements need to be done to a home in order to maximize the buyer interest. And so you can help advise your client on, selecting services or selecting paint colors, et cetera. But once we have a detailed scope of work, we can get started on sourcing vendors and ensuring that the process is moving forward quickly. The call out on the scope of work is just to be as detailed as possible. So in order to remove assumptions, be sure to name the rooms that are requiring work, detail the specific items that need to be done. So if it's painting, make sure to call out whether or not the trim needs painted. Make sure to discuss any patchwork that needs to be done, or if there's holes in the wall that need to be repaired. Anything that can help be as specific as possible. This way the seller gets a really clear upfront quote and they're not surprised by anything, once the bid comes back. Okay, so just a few tips for how to help them through the scope of work process. And we do have the opportunity for you to onboard your own preferred vendors. So if you love Joe the Painter and Joe the Painter is local to your area, and you would want to utilize his services through the Real-Vitalize program, you can do that. That we have a vendor submission form that's available also on desk. Once we have their information, we reach out to the vendor, let them know that they have an agent interested in using their services through this type of program. The first time you use that vendor, it's kind of a trial period for that vendor to see if they like being a part of the program. So there's no cost, no risk, no anything to them to participate. But if they continue to source work from the program, Homeadvisor works like a lead model. There is no annual fee to that service provider, but there is a per project fee. So they would be subject to, like, say, a 5 or 10% lead fee if they accept the work and do the work on the property. Okay. So you can absolutely onboard your preferred vendors, but there would be a fee to the vendor to participate on a go-forward basis. And lastly, as a part of the Real-Vitalize experience, I would just want to cover a couple of things that as pertaining to the closing process. So once the home is under contract, I mentioned earlier, the change of listing status form. It looks like there's a lot of information on this page, but really it's just the basic details of the listing that we're after, and then you giving us your expected close date and what's the final purchase price. Okay, so we're just looking for those final details that say that your listing status has changed to pending, and we're just looking to take the necessary steps, like informing that closing agent and gathering the invoices, etc., and we'll have them prepared and available for you at the settlement table to make sure that goes smoothly. There's nothing for you to do with the demand for payment form, but this is just the notice that we send to the closing agent with the total number of the invoices, and gives them wire instructions on how to rewire the money back to us. Now, I wanted to call out here too, this is a separate payment that is coming out at closing aside from your closing, your commission. So you will get paid your commission, and then separately, the Real-Vitalize funds are being wired back to the program. So you as an agent don't have to worry about cutting a check out of your commission check, etc. It's a completely separate line item on the settlement worksheet. Okay. Let's quickly review some marketing tools. We have phenomenal marketing to showcase the program that you can use in order to entice potential sellers to list with you. We have plenty of different messaging. So depending on how you want to position the program to your seller, great options to customize with your photo or your contact information, and just provide your potential sellers some details on how the program works. There's social media tiles with some pre-crafted content for you to share. Of course, you can come up with your own, but we just wanted to make it easy. But it has, the logo and some great imagery for what the program's all about, and then the description there for you to share with your network. We also have postcards that are available for you to use with different messaging on it as well, customizable with your headshot and your contact details. All of these materials, printed materials, are available in Express Docs, and the digital assets are available in BrandServe. So you can customize your print materials in Express Docs. That's how you'll, swap out your agent headshot, etc., and be able to send out these really quality postcards and materials to your network. There's plenty of agent resources available on this program. We have frequently asked questions, you have marketing materials. There's so many educational resources. And everything and anything can be found on desk. If you want to refer back to kind of a quick start guide, that's there. There's a step-by-step process for how to enroll a listing for your use. There's a timeline slide that you can refer back to. So all the things that we've covered today are available here after this training. And we also have plenty of resource centers available for any questions you might have. So we have a RealVitalize team at Realogy that is available to answer all your program questions with a dedicated phone line. We have a Homeadvisor team on standby to get project scheduling started, etc. And then Realogy Title Group has their own team. Like I said, they're your partners in making sure that your seller's having a great experience and that the sale closes smoothly. So they have their own RealVitalize team that can answer any questions on how closing works, etc. So that covers all of the information that I wanted to review today. Thank you so much for the time. Excited for you to get started in trying the program, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks.